Reginald here, and good morning. This will be my first run-through of Ascension Riser 31. I am, of course, recording this after the fact, since otherwise there's nothing but keyboard clacks. I will be sorting out that audio problem one of these days, but for now, this is fine. It lets me analyze the video in greater detail anyway, which is kind of some of the fun and point. Also, shout out to Sharokin for a great game. I actually kind of appreciate it when people say hi to me in game. It's interesting to find out that people have been watching my videos and actually like them, and I find it quite flattering. So, always feel free to just reach out, say hi. I don't mind. I forgot to press ready here, and I apologize for the added delay. So thanks to Kane for, doing the clicky-clackies. So I actually really like these walk-in scenes. I think they're really great. I do think it's unfortunate that one of the ways they probably optimized was by adding some of that pop-in. That's probably late loading stuff or lazy loading stuff. That's hard to say for sure, but yeah. Since this is my first run, I'm going to try and look around just a little, set situation permitted, just to try and show off the map. I actually think this map is really great. There's a ton of verticality. There's so much to see. I wasn't even able to see what I think is any of it. It feels like there's always a different way you could be going in this map. And so the team has really outdone themselves again, honestly, with this map. Both of the two new maps are really, really awesome and give you a sense of scale and of flexibility. I also really like these scenes where you walk by the PDF guys. That's really fluffy for me. I kind of remember back in beta when you were wearing the blue fatigues for everything, like the PDF. So there's sort of a charm to that in a way. So this is interesting. I'm not sure what causes me. I was just going to hit him again for the giggles, but I'm not sure what causes me to be able to actually strike him for the kill like that. Alright, watch. Yeah, okay, so someone pointed this out on the forums, and they identified, I forget their name, and I apologize for that, that's my bad, but they had identified that there's a bug with thrust and interacting with the Rising Conviction. So prior to a recent patch, I don't remember which one, when you would use not Rising Conviction. When you use Chastise the Wicked, you would maintain your thrust stacks through the charge, but now it appears to reset them, which is terrible, actually, for the use of the hammer. It really hampers it for those one-hit kills that you would want to get. It's not horrible in all cases, but it's not great. I don't know what killed you. Did you blow yourself up? This will definitely need to be fixed. These guys are just walking right through the wall. It's not the end of the world or anything. I don't really care about minor bugs. I think I've said it before. Major bugs like the AMD one, that bothers me, but I didn't know about that when I recorded that last video. I usually record these first thing in the morning before work. So that miss makes me feel bad. That was me shooting at the thing. I thought I charged my hammer there. I really was expecting to hit him with a charged attack. So I had a little bit of latency this game, not too bad, but I don't know why I didn't hit that guy. I kind of like dodged, and then I just didn't connect. I've hit things that are way further away from me than that, so I don't know. That one was unfortunate. I didn't see him at all. Looking at these guys' equipment again, I can see what kind of game I'm going to have ahead of time. So obviously the Ogren's running, a pretty classic combo here with the Bully Butcher, but he actually has a kickback, which is really fun. I enjoy it when Ogren's run kickback. It's just really amusing to me. The mega shotgun, the superest of shotguns. Ooh, Chaos Spawn. I forgot about this. I really like the Chaos Spawn, but not in low intensity or normal intensity missions. I think he's kind of easy. He's really, really fun in high intensity, and I had the pleasure of playing a couple of rounds just for my amusement yesterday, and one of them was high intensity, and we had a couple of spawns of Chaos show up, spawns of Chaos Spawn show up, and just really ruin the game. It's really hard when you have a horde like this. This one is exactly the situation I'm talking about, where there's just so much stuff. They're the mobility and risk. So I didn't realize I was backing myself into a corner here, but the added enemies are giving me stacks of Slaughterer to help deal extra damage here. And obviously, you kind of clean this guy up pretty quickly. One of the advantages of the hammer, of course, is even in the weakened state that it's in, you still do a ton of boss damage, especially if you can land headshots. So I'm trying to help here, but I just keep missing. I'm a little rusty on the hammer. I thought I'd take it for a spin. I took it for a spin like yesterday, a little bit on a couple of missions, then back to the chain axe. So this game is like my third game in quite a number of hours on the hammer. Obviously, I've got a lot of muscle memory built up, but yeah. You'll have to watch me make some errors here. So the Medicaid station is over here instead of over there. And I noticed, I don't know if you saw it, but there's like a little shutter section that shutters it off on the other side. So this is obviously a rerun, but there's a ton of like redesign that makes it feel, at least to me, like more of a reference and more fresh. Obviously we're coming out from a different angle, though it feels very similar with plenty of reused assets. Yeah, there's that shutter I was talking about. I like little details like that. I don't know, they tickle the neurons in the back of my brain. I love a good Lawbringer. Headshot feels good, man. I like the audio on the Lawbringer a lot more than I like the audio on the, aside from the thump from the slug on the Agrippina. I think it sounds way beefier. I actually like it more than on the Cantrail as well, but the Cantrail has that metal sled sound that does sound really satisfying. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like a metal sled firing a bunch of projectiles. It's great. So I know that the thrust is broken, but it's still worth it. This, I definitely could have fought 2 Crushers with my hand and anything else that's in this room, like, from looking at it now, with just the hammer. The Tesla staff obviously makes it safer and easier. Personally, I find that less fun. This Fujin plays very well this game, and I have no objection to him bringing whatever equipment he wants to bring. I'm just saying, from my personal tastes, I don't like playing hammer alongside the Tesla staff or the Surge staff, because it's more fun for me to have to take those risks and potentially eat hits and suffer those consequences than it is to have everything teed up for me to make for easy hits. So, didn't have to charge that. I probably could have just swung, but I figured if I body checked it, then it wouldn't be able to jump anybody, which would, I don't know, personally I find getting dogged kind of annoying, even if it gets knocked off right away, just because I lose control of my character a little bit. Don't get me wrong, I'm not asking for changes on that, but yeah, I like to try and protect other people from that small, minor annoyance. There's a lot of, like, little sections in this map I think I was kind of marveling at. I know I'm just rambling here. And, you know. I did say I waste ammo. That was absolutely a waste of ammo. It was also really fun for me. There's a lot of, like, how do I explain this in this map? I'm looking for the right word, but basically there's a lot of like side passages and like alternative routes that just kind of loop back around the same area, but it feels very winding, very hive-like. I really enjoyed that. I think they did a good job here. And I think that you'll be able to get a different experience out of a lot of different runs just because of that. Some of the doors apparently aren't real. I also can't wait to do this map on high intensity. It's the same with the Throne Side one that they just added, Archive of Sycorax. I just think that the 2 maps are going to be really fun on higher intensity modes, and I'm looking forward to this being published as such. I'm glad they fixed the issue where they couldn't let us play. I didn't hear anything for that one. The mission for the first time, you know what I'm talking about, where it's like when the other Throne Side map came out and like Complex, and you literally couldn't hear anything or you couldn't play anything for like a week. I didn't get to play that map for like 2 weeks actually. So I'm glad they fixed that. It's the minimum standard. I'm sure the person who did it engaged in some clever maneuvering, so shout out to you for that clever maneuvering. But I can't celebrate too much because it is like the minimum expected standard. Sorry guys. Like, I'm glad you did it, but you should have done it the first time. It should have been like that from the get-go. And I'm sure the technical work was hard. So I'm definitely sort of exploring how the hammer works again. You can see me just like, obviously I have to just hit stuff to survive. Around this point, I noticed my audio setting is wrong. I mentioned I have like virtuals around, and it's like, it doesn't always turn on automatically with my headset, so I gotta like check around and see if I'm hearing things behind me properly. It's a little weird. Sorry about that. Sometimes I get hit or don't hear specials until I turn on that surround, and I'm like, oh, I needed to care about that way more. that was for my own amusement and maybe to help keep you alive. I know you probably didn't need any help, but I really like shooting the damn thing, okay? So it looks like I aimed wrong there. That's probably why I didn't go as far, because if I had aimed at an enemy, I would have gone a lot farther. Thought I could special shield though, but whatever. Again, wasting ammo for my own amusement. This is... I do less of that in high-intensity games. But this is just normal Damnation, so I'm like, I'll just kind of flail some ammo. I'll always have enough, and you know, we've got a vet on the team, so I can always make some up. Thanks to Fujin for saving me from that dog that was probably coming for me. I think this section of the map, by the way, is super cool. Like, we're moving trains, and like it feels like like they took some of the subsystems they had set up for themselves and combined them into even more complexity, complex mission objectives. And I just think that's super cool. Like, that really is satisfying. They did it with Archives and Sigarax as well, and just sort of made the whole situation a lot more fun. So I'm going to go for this here, because I didn't see anybody else doing it, and then this guy dropping down from the sky, so I'm going to cancel this plan. This is actually kind of a hard defense. They can come from multiple angles, and yeah, you gotta really work on it. I'm trying to like keep them all back with a combination of pushes and attacks, since I've got such high stagger cleave. Not necessarily damage, but I can push everything around, right? So I'm making an effort. I suppose I could have used a grenade, but I would have probably not captured enough in the radius. I heard him get dogged there, or something, and I just went for it. I was like, let me try and help whatever's going on. So there's always a little debate on whether or not you should kill the trapper first. In that case, I believe the order of operations was correct, because I started shooting the trapper before he was fully netted, so it's not like I was going to be able to get him until after that third shot anyway, and usually I can kill him too, so I think that was fine. I thought that guy was dead, so I didn't try to hit him until after. I did say I like the kickback. It's very entertaining to watch him just like tap things and make them explode. So there's me demonstrating that you can absolutely two-tap a bulwark through his shield. I did not need that. That was me attempting to ping it. I'm fine.
Canadian surprise coming in.
Join up with one another. Form a group. Sneaking in, stealing ill-gotten gains. Makes me feel like an ice ganger.
I wish the bayonet on the Lucius was good. In fact, I think the melee on a lot of the shooting weapons needs to be a lot better. I think it's fine that we can instant swap, but I think we need that. So I wasn't sure what error he was talking about specifically here, but I've had it happen where my mods just become uninteractable or just turn off in the middle of the game without crashing the game. I think that's rather interesting. It happened to me the other day. It's not a big deal. You can just restart the game and they turn back on. So, trying to clean up the little guys so I can hit the big ones. I would have gotten that before he hit me, for sure. The timing was fine. There's that nice little overhead. I always love that. So I thought I saw him going for Kane, and then he just about faced towards me, and that was surprising. So I will once again shout out to Tesla Man here for giving it the old lightning. No reg. I run into a couple of those this game. It does feel quite bad. It seems to happen the most, I've noticed, when the enemies are moving away, and so I suspect in my somewhat layman's terms. I mean, I think I've mentioned this before, but I do actually have some experience working on video games, but my expectation with that one. I'm going to shoot trappers. I usually shoot trappers. I don't trust them in melee, so I think that's probably wise. I am sure he could have killed that without my intervention. I think he did, but I always try to go for the muties and kill them as quickly as possible because I can do it with this hammer better than anybody else can, faster, and that limits the risk that everybody takes to that when that mutie is involved. Actually, it's one of the things that the hammer scales a lot better at higher difficulties because of the higher special spawn rate. So, you know, I get more value out of it the more specials there are, right? The kickback there was not helpful, actually. I appreciate him attempting to help me. I think that was generous. But it just knocked it over and made me whiff my swing. And so I was going to get that next swing before it was able to shoot me for sure. Since I was just using lights, I was confident I was going to be able to do it in succession like that, so it actually just slowed it down. Again, that's like a very minor problem, so it really doesn't matter. I'm not going to hold on to that one. I just thought I'd mention it. So you can hear I no-reg here, and then I hit it in the hand, arm, paw, front paw. I think that no-reg would have killed it, or at least significantly moved it. I don't know if the dog jumped on me or not. I think it got stuck in the fire there. That's the Grimoire turning me black and white. I have no idea how I did not get shot. I'm just going to be honest. I thought for sure I was going to eat an entire blast of that and then kill him after that I ran out of dodges there, so I don't know. I was flubbing my dodge slide too.
Thou needs this healing veteran.
So I was kind of thinking, is there a Medicae around here? Because it feels like there should be. But then I just went ahead and dropped it because I noticed everybody was pretty low, and then they were like asking for it at the same time that I was noticing we were all a little banged up. So, you know, probably best that we don't die on our way through. This area is super cool. Like, look at the scope and size of this this playing field. Like, a lot of the maps have a lot more of a claustrophobic feel for large sections. This is bold of them to give us such an open fighting field. I like it. I think that's great. I missed like 3 shots there. I could have knocked them over with any of those, but I just couldn't aim. Yeah, that was actually technically a mistake. He was already being brain popped, and he wasn't going to be able to fire off a volley accurately anytime soon. We already have 1 Grim. I figure I'll pick up the second one. This is normal Damnation. This will add a little extra challenge, but it's not going to be that hard in the first place. I just feel like you kind of like play in this area a lot. Like there's a lot of room to move around between the train sections. And like I wrapped around this train and I expected it to be done actually, and then there was more and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like this is like a whole area you can fight in. I literally thought this mutie was just doing power squats in the corner over here. They do that now. I hate it. It actually makes them so hard to fight because what has happened since that patch is they will do these little power squats and then you'll be trying to fight them. And instead of running at you in a predictable manner and then missing, they'll just like stop, and then sometimes they'll decide to like just power squat right for a little bit, do a few reps, you know, get their calves going, get their quads burning, and sometimes they will instead just immediately charge at a complete oblique angle from the last one, like just throwing you completely off. So when they stop is no longer entirely safe unless you're confident they hit something, and even then it seems like they sometimes just turn around and just charge immediately. I find them way more unreliable than back when they did sharp turns. The sharp turns was fine. I've even still seen them do sharp turns, so that's even worse. Like they still sometimes do sharp turns, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they stop in doorways and just stare at you, and then they charge you immediately after while you're trying to work up to them to hit them. I don't like it. The timing has gotten really hard and unpredictable. They feel way less predictable. I had no idea this demon host was there. I didn't see it. I heard it, but I didn't see it in the fog, so I'm just like shooting right next to it. I felt really dumb. It's in plain view. I just clearly just was being blind. You know, I ran out of dodges because I'm rusty. I didn't need to dodge as much as I did there, and as a consequence, I took those 2 hits, and that feels bad. I will take this ammo.
And much needed.
I figure we've got an ammo pack, so it's okay if I collect little ones and let Sharo get the bigger ones later when it's time.
Ammo crate. Thank you. Yeah. For a total.
I could have used my charge to run into that block, but we have a lot of firepower. We had test the guy. I didn't see any reason for me to use my ult there. I'd rather use my ammo in that case. That one was a last-second decision to do the charge. I thought I was going to hit him on the way up the stairs, but he was closer to me than I expected, so that's when I went ahead and did that.
I think thou art best tolerated at a distance.
That's a great shot, by the way.
Show me.
I was actually surprised I didn't kill him outright, because I thought I hit him in the face, but whatever. I think I missed a little down on the left. Maybe some of the pellets missed, something like that. I don't know if you could make it out, but just a second ago, if you go back and listen, there was some flies that were playing just before. I may have talked over it, but there were some flies playing. So one of the warnings that a horde is coming is flies. You can hear flies. I swung too high there. My bad. I didn't expect him to be like on the ground so hard. I have noticed, however, that as of at least this game, I had always thought those warnings were actually, the flies were actually a warning for Poxwalker hordes, but that was clearly a Groner horde. So I guess now you know. Now I know. It can be either. It's actually it's interesting, but I think Groner hordes in some ways are more intimidating because Poxwalkers don't move as fast. And so Groners can like really swarm in on you, even though they're weaker, and get hits in, you know, while you're dealing with those things. Everybody was white ammo. Oh yeah, look at all these maulers. This is fun. And this is, I mean, this is the thing, right? Like, I most likely could have taken all of that with a little bit of fancy footwork. Maybe not solo, but you know, the Odwin was right there. The two of us could have just like meleeed it all to death, had some fun. But instead it got electrocuted and just turned into like a soft puddle. And again, I am not asking for any changes to the Surge Staff. I'm not asking for the Psychers to not use the Surge Staff, nothing. It's just personal preference. I think it's more fun when they're really threatening, and that's it. So, yeah, so, he was, I don't know if you read the comment there, but he was pointing out that we were actually above the other area we run through on Chasm Logistratum, I believe is the name of that map. I've apparently played enough that I can actually remember the names of the maps and what they are like. They can be a little samey, so it's not too surprising when you can't remember if you don't have the best names. Actually, this is something I've been thinking of for a while. It might have been more interesting or fluffy, rather than making these bespoke missions, to give them randomized numbers at the end of their names, right? So it's like Chasm Logistratum, but the number is different, so that it's like this is a section of the map that has been reproduced, you know, 100 times in this enormous hive city, and we're just in a different one every time, right? That way, it feels like the missions are more of a progression over time, right? I think that would be, you know, like you're fighting over different areas and you're winning or losing the war based on different territories, and it's a bit samey because there's so much reproduction of this and mass manufacture, but it is different areas. I think that would be cooler than having like all this bespoke stuff. Not it doesn't feel like we're really engaged in a plot with the way things are. Except for maybe comms flex, but, you know. Archivum Sycorax could be Archivum whatever Rax, you know, any number of them. I do like that it is possible for demon hosts to spawn without taking up a slot of monstrosities. And we only got one this game, and that's sad. But like, I've seen 2 demon hosts and 2 other monstrosities. I think that's, you know, like 2 plague ogres or whatever. At least I think I have. Someone will have to check me on that. At the very least, it feels that way. I'm gonna take that ammo. Everybody else is white, so we should be fine. Speaking of lights out mode, this game needs one of 2 things. Either I need a better head flashlight, which is the boring solution to the problem, but like, you know, I've seen what this looks like for people who aren't playing on the screen monitor I'm playing on, which things are quite a bit darker, actually. And it's not like I'm intentionally running things out, it's just my settings are such that the game looks a little lighter for me. I can kind of make out the dark things. It's still very dark. I still prefer to run dark mode with a flashlight, but I can not if I want to, right? So if it's going to be that dark for everybody else, myself included, on some monitors, right? Then I want to be able to attach a flashlight to my gun, or I want to have a headlamp that actually works and turns on. And you're going to have to take your pick, Fat Shark, because you can't leave it like this forever. I say that you should bring back the attachment system that you promised for the game.
Hard to be certain, but I reckon you're making good time.
I think that the attachment system was a good idea. I don't think you should make it. I think you can have it be randomized and in acquisition if you want, but it shouldn't be like some sort of gotcha pay to win thing. Like, it should be something you collect as equipment, and it should give you a meaning. It could be part of a meaningful progression, give you customization of your weapons. That'd be very fun. I thought I dodged there. I really didn't think I was going to eat that hit. Dodge distance does play a role, but it's also partially dodge timing, and so you know you can dodge pretty far and still get hit by an attack because of the way the enemies work. Just following up behind. I'm overholding these heavy swings purely for my amusement. One of the things though that's nice about that hammer, I mean this is really niche, but because you're swinging so slowly, you really learn to read the enemy's movements.
Get the Ascension riser moving, then you can grab the goodies and get out of there. But they ain't gonna let you go.
I told you I didn't make funny jokes. If you're reading those comments, I said he's got huge arms. He should be able to just lift his health bar back up. I don't think that's probably funny, but it's funny to me, so you'll just have to suffer if you don't like it. This is a really cool space, and I start to wonder to myself, are we going to actually fight on this platform and like go up or down? It's called Ascension Riser. I wonder which direction we go. I couldn't actually quite make it out when we were playing. Said operative's missing. Was he just not quite on it? Alright, let's find out. Let's go. I don't think I heard the noise for you're about to get shot. You know, the whoop noise, whatever it is. I wasn't sure how much I should be shooting and how much I should be swinging at that point, so I just decided to go with what was in my hand. I had ammo, it wasn't a big deal in my mind. I love that voice line. That's my favorite one. I haven't heard it in quite a while, like a lot of games, but that's easily the most hyped voice line on the Agitator Zealot, and I dig it. I actually just start playing differently as a consequence of that voice line every time. I like take a, like in this case I finally moved away. I probably would have moved away a lot sooner, but I was like, no, this ground is holy now. I have to hold this particular spot. I just think it's so cool. There's got to be a little element of roleplay to your game, otherwise what's the fun in my view? Like, you don't have to go ham and like pretend to be, you know, an ogre or whatever, but like just let the game inform a little bit of the way you want it to play, right? Like let the character sort of derive just a few of your actions insofar as you can manage it. It's a good way to add a little variety to your gameplay too. Like, oh, you know, you can always do the most optimal thing, or you can have a little fun with it, especially in lower difficulty like this one. Lower difficulty, he says, of playing Damnation without any modifiers. But really it is a lower difficulty. It's actually one of the big problems I have with the game right now. So I'm trying out that combo again. You know, like I said, I'm sort of picking the hammer back up for the first time in a little while. So I'm like, okay, well, how's that heavy-light combo, right? Somebody mentioned it. I forget your name as well. I apologize. I'm bad with names, but I do appreciate the comments I receive. Somebody was saying, that was actually surprising me. I didn't think I was going to hit that. They must have done something to make dogs more reliable. Dodging sniper fire really shouldn't be standing there. That's kind of a mistake on my part. Let's see if I can get this guy. Yes, got him. Alright. There's that little noise of the poop tentacles coming out, and I thought another chaos spawn had spawned. And that was scary. I was like, oh no, not right here. This does not look good. I like that you have to get off the elevator to go kill the poop monster and then get back on the elevator. I think that is sick. I think the way, like I said, they've combined some of their earlier elements from other missions into more complex missions is super fun. And so I think for newer players who've never played before, it's not going to be that confusing at all. But for players who played this game for the last 6 months, you know, they're going to get a little neuron activation, you know. Backing up so I can get some toughness here, because I clearly am screwing up on these stairs. I wasn't trying to vault there, I just wanted to do a little hop so I could fire. Yep, so I'm doing that combo, then I think maybe I'll go back to my heavy combo. The heavy combo for me involves a lot of push attacks and push blocks. I don't personally mind that on this weapon because I have so much stamina. I mean, I run triple stamina Curios. I'm running 6, 8. Can't find it a good +3. I also have gunner resist because I find gunners to be the most dangerous thing to me since they have such high stagger and do a lot of damage very quickly. So I just have a lot of gunner resist. I have revive speed and I have Curios for ability regeneration. I have 2 to 4%, so I have 8% better regeneration. That was a delaying tactic on that guy. I don't know why that hit didn't connect. That actually surprised me. I think I was just a touch too high, maybe. I know I was aiming for his head, but I definitely screwed it up. But, I mean, we've got a guy with a kickback who definitely does a lot of close range point damage. We've got Tesla Man here who can do some damage, right? So that's easier to kill for everybody. They are not rushing in. That's one of the things I kind of like the Hammer for, is like you can it's easier to tee up the enemy. It's easier to ready your swing and let it hit the enemy as they're coming in, right? Because you lose a lot of mobility while you're charging your swing, and that's what you want to be doing. So when they stop like that, it's actually harder for me to hit them, because now I have to figure out whether or not I'm going to charge or whether I'm going to like cancel my swing and hit something else and then try to get another heavy swing ready, and they're so slow. So it throws off my rhythm, I think is what I'm trying to say. And then also, we've got the Lucius Labs, so they're going to get blasted pretty quickly as well. So there's just a lot of things on the table here that are going to be competing for special kills, right? And elite kills, which is fine. I don't mind. I brought a shotgun. I can just shoot stuff. I heard it, but I could not react in time. It just couldn't do it. Although I did knock. I knocked the dog off the map, which I thought was really funny. I kind of like pushed him. That one seemed to have an unusually large amount of health. I couldn't tell whether we were going up or down. I'm going to have to watch that again. I presume up. I got you, bud. Don't you worry. I'm not going to let you get hit. I definitely feel like, I mean, even accounting, So there, just as an FYI, I kind of stayed a little further back on purpose so that I could charge once he got hit, because I didn't know where he was going to land or if he was going to hit me or what. So I stood back. I was going to let him come, so I had room to swing at him if he didn't go to pick up the veteran there. And then once I saw the veteran got picked up, I immediately went for him. I have all these grenades. I know some people like use them more, but like I use them mostly for rescues of really dangerous situations, and there just weren't any. So I have them at the end. You know, we absolutely slaughtered that mission. It was a piece of cake. Okay. Well, I certainly didn't do horrible, right? I did around the same number of melee kills as the Bully Butcher Ogren. I don't know what build he's running, but that's perfectly fine. It's less than what I would have gotten with the Chain Axe, but obviously I got most of the Disabler kills, because that's, you know, my job with the hammer, is things run at me and I kill them with it. And I did fine on range damage too. Obviously, this isn't going to be like God's gift, but that's plenty, right? Melee lesser killed. Why is that so much higher than melee kills? That's weird. I wonder what my scoreboard is actually reading there. Well, in any case, I'd just like to say thanks for joining me for this little run. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you around. Take care.